there isn't one group, not really, not one particular group to focus on, really, you know. There's no particular group that behaves in a jealous, evil manner. We're all human beings, right? So it's impossible to place blame here, there, or anywhere other than on individuals that make choices, right? Now, there's a particular issue in the community that I am in because we've discovered that certain scriptures, Book of Mormon, was not created or did not come about in the way that we were taught. When I was a little girl, there was these illustrated Book of Mormons, right? And it talked about how it was that the scriptures were used by a device called the Urim and Thummim. It wasn't even a seer rock in a hat. So I don't even know when the seer rock in the hat came in on the scene. It was the Urim and Thummim. So I'm kind of confused about when that changed, right? But, and I'm not really even I was never even trying to call any attention to what I had discovered along the way. What actually forensic science figured out along the way. But to be able to recognize just, you know, the difference between fact and fiction. And you know, my heart is like so broken because I loved the stories. I loved Nephi and Alma. These people that I really believed were actually real people that lived in the ancient America. Or at least they left Jerusalem and went to ancient America, but of course we know that, well, if they're right that American Indians were actually from Asian descent, then it really kind of messes everything up completely. These truths, they're uncomfortable because people have spent their whole entire lives investing in these and loving these stories and me, myself, even teaching Sunday school, believing with a pure heart, wanting it. You know, everybody wants the truth, really they do. And that's the whole reason why anybody would even join the churches, because they were claiming that they would be the only true gospel on the face of the entire earth. That is a really big promise. And people by nature want the truth, and so they would gravitate that way because that's what the proclamation was. And to think that these people are, you know, evil by nature, that's also wrong, because no, these people really, really want to have God in their life. They're not trying to deceive. Well, some of them are. Okay, we know some leaders are trying to do that, but the people down here, you know, that are just looking for the truth, they're not trying to do anything but to be close to God, because maybe they're going through something that's so hard, and any kind of source that we have that can bring us closer to Him, man, people are going to glom onto that. Of course they will. And it's really kind of inconvenient, because if, for instance, now an AI now can prove what people in their hearts want so much to believe, and they find out that it isn't what really happened, it causes a lot of emotional disruption. And believe me, this has not been an easy transition for me. It isn't. I want to believe about the stripling warriors. I want to believe about Helaman. I want to believe about the anti-Lehi Nephites, you know? And now, instead of just saying that Joseph lied, now they come about saying, well, it was a good, this was a great story. I can't remember what the word they used. Now all of a sudden the Book of Mormon is just a work of art, right? It's not real, it's just a work of art. And we still like it because, it aligns, and can correlate with scripture. But when you've got people that emotionally connect with it and really, in the deepest part of themselves, want to believe in these truths. Now, this is just one part of the story that I've been a part of. I have got so many different groups that have come after me, not just because of the church. I mean, that is kind of a big deal, right? But it's more than that. There are these other groups, that want to come after me. I never claimed that I was a perfect person. You know what? I don't know if you guys knew this, but there is not one person on the face of this earth that is perfect. And by nature, all of us are sexual beings. But there's a difference between using your sexuality to, in safety, or using it out of safety. I guess that's the best way, my layman way of saying. Because if you're not, again, I'm a person, I'm a human being. And I'm not as sexually driven as people have said that I was. Really, I'm not. I really, and most women, they love to be loved. They want to be loved. They don't want to be, they don't want to be used. Most of the time they don't. Now there's some women that have learned how to manipulate and be demons themselves, but it's usually the men that are looking for easy sex, right? And women, they're looking for love. They're looking for love and intimacy. They're not looking for that most of the time. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. And so because of that, especially in my age group, because the world has changed so much, but back when I was growing up, love, marriage, family, it meant something. It meant something. And now everybody's just they might still be getting married, but but there's some that use marriage as a stage to cover themselves, and what they really are doing, they're using marriage as a mask to hide the people that they actually really are. Why should I feel ashamed because you guys put me on CCTV when you are so far more guilty than anything I could have ever done or conceived of? You know what? You want to show me out as being somebody so diabolical, but I would never go out and try to harm any one of you. And like I said, there's a big difference between, sin and crime. Sin, if you want to call it that. People by nature are sexual beings, yes. But women, you typically want love. They don't want to harm someone. They want intimacy. They want authenticity. And men, they seem to be able to just, it's a different story for a lot of them. Some of them feel the same way women do. They want to have the real thing. They don't want to be lied to. But there's players, this has become such an evil society that there's so many players out there that prey on good people that, they can totally twist the truth and make you something you totally are not, And they can take your weaknesses, and they can take it when you have been scammed and you believe a thing, and then you suddenly find out it was a setup all along. That, does it make you that guilty because you believed somebody? Or is it the person that was betraying you and led you in? I'm not trying to save people that knew what they were doing, followed the plan, and behaved in a certain way because of a man or a woman or anybody, right? I'm not here to protect you, to save you. You know your part in this, okay? And for one person to say, well, I am pure. This is who I am. I have never made a mistake in my whole life, although I have committed an RICO, a RICO crime, which far exceeds any minor sexual sin you might have made. Oh yeah, but see, they don't understand that. They think that, just because you want to be intimate with somebody, that's a greater sin than it is to commit a RICO crime, to be a thief, to perjure yourself in court. They seem to think that sexual sin is worse than that. And I assure you it's not. It isn't. It's not. No. To bear false witness in a court of law far exceeds the need for intimacy with someone. There are so many people in the world that have had children out of wedlock. This is not a new thing. I didn't invent the sin. No, I did not. We want to be loved, right? And you want to vilify me because I have what? Done something that you didn't do, but you've done far worse? And that's supposed to... This is laughable. Oh, come on. And you know what I find worse than that too? I don't know how to say this because I want to say it carefully. Because I know what you're going to say. And you might call it prejudice. But there are men that really are, and I haven't figured this out yet, and I think science is working on it. And they've done a lot of research, that there's some men that are born with maybe the propensity to be gay. But that is far different than being bisexual. And we are in a day and age where there's a trend going on with men wanting to act out in a bisexual, or they say they're bisexual. They're really attracted to women, but they want to experiment, right? But this is completely lustful energy. This isn't coming from a place where they are biologically a certain way. They're coming off more like, we just want to have so much sexual freedom that the science isn't really matching with actually the fact of the situation. Okay? And maybe it's a part of throwing women under the bus. The very people, the very humans that you rely upon about perpetuating the human species. The beautiful, energetic, loving beings that actually perpetuate the longevity of humanity. The nurturers. And because you are you're so into this thing, this nasty thing. Not a beautiful thing. Oh, no. It's not a loving thing. It's an act for gratification. That is so very, very different than someone who loves the idea of giving love and being loved back in return. There's a totally different thing going on there. But then you've got these people that are so jealous. Just by nature, they're jealous. That they will use whatever manipulation they can to throw you under the bus. It doesn't matter who you are or what you stand for, they're going to find a flaw with you. Some way to defile your name because they are more suitable for a particular task. After they've already, your whole entire life, abused you. They didn't even have a right to have you physically be in their lives at all in the first place. They really didn't. They didn't even have a right to have you in their family. Trying to find a way to vindicate themselves when they're not the ones that deserve the vindication at all. I'm not here to clean up anybody's mess. I'm not. And you can't throw me under the bus at all. Because when you try that, you know who's really going to be thrown under the bus? It's going to be you. You can't fault me for being a human being. And you putting me on CCTV, that makes you even more guilty. No, you can't frame me or put me. Do you know that putting somebody on CCTV without their knowledge is not information that can even be held up in a court of law? It can't. They can't even use whatever information they think they have. They can't even use it in a court of law. It doesn't apply. It would be thrown out immediately. Unless a person knows that they are being filmed and agrees to it, you cannot use that as evidence against a person. Are we on the same page? I don't have to go to law school to know that. I am not going to defend criminals. No. I'm here to protect innocent people that have been preyed upon by those who are in power or have more power over everyone out there. My heart, my mind, my soul is really going to protect you, the innocent people. Because we have been preyed upon by these sharks long enough. Now we either come clean and pay real penance, especially the ones deeply involved, okay? I'm not having it. You do not get to use film, evidence, false information, AI. You don't get to use fabricated evidence in a court of law. You don't get to use factual evidence in a court of law. When you were doing illegal surveillance, to use that as evidence. No, you don't. Religion does not belong in any way, shape, or form in a court of law. And I know you all know that too. It doesn't. Don't ask me to be nice. I can be forgiving when that is deserved. But clearly, you don't want to see the truth for what it actually is. And that's not my fault. It isn't. I give compassion where I know it's deserved. I even forgive when I know that somebody really is sorry. And I know when they're not. And that's all I can say about it.